What's happening, folks? I'm back for another Loreena McKennitt reaction, but I've already shot the video, and I realized after shooting that I made two mistakes in terms of description, which is to say, The Mask and Mirror is from 1994, and I say multiple times in my introduction 1997, and it's because I've been thinking about the Book of Secrets, which is another CD that Michaela has sent that I have waiting. That's from 1997, so that's the first mistake. And the second one is at the end of the video when I'm thinking and trying to recall about what we decided in terms of the next step in the journey, whether, the Mask and Mirror live or going to the Book of Secrets or jumping back to Elemental. I referred to it as Element because in the moment I actually thought of the Tears for Fears album Elemental, and I thought, oh, I'm like crossing my wires, I think it's just Element. So that's what I said, but it is in fact Elemental. In any case, now you will enjoy the actual introduction, so thank you again to Michaela, thank you again to Chris and to Yvonne and to all those who've taken an interest in Loreena journey more broadly. And yes, 1994 is the year for Mask and Mirror, and Elemental is the other album in question. So yes, here's the proper intro. What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Loreena McKennitt and more from the Mask and Mirror. We're up to the penultimate tune. Thank you again to Michaela for the CDs, plural. There's another one waiting in the wings, as well as other Loreena material that I have at the ready. But yes, the second to last tune on the Mask and Mirror, 1997, has a two-part title, the first part of which is in Irish Gaelic, and I checked online, and it translates to "Who am I to beg?" And then the second part is "The Two Trees." So I don't quite know how to connect those two. I mean, the first one is a rhetorical question, more or less, because you're implying that you are not in a position to beg or to ask for some great favor, or, your identity in a larger context or situation is such that you can't influence things in that manner. And the two trees, of course, that's a very visual reference, but it feels like it could be part of some cultural tale or some nursery rhyme or something to that effect. And I do wonder whether this relates to some established archetype, whether, again, based on a cultural fable or something like that. But in the moment, and despite having read a bit about, Celtic cultures and so on, I don't have any information to that effect, so I'll have to either pick it up in the moment and or look forward to hearing any insight that can be offered. I will say, though, on the back of the CD here it indicates track times, and this one is over 9 minutes long, so let's get it started. This is Loreena McKennitt. It is a track from her 1997 album, The Mask and Mirror, and the tune, from what I understand, translates to "Who am I to beg?" followed by "The Two Trees."
Joy the holy branches start, and all the trembling flowers they bear, the changing colors of its fruit have dyed the stars with merry light, the surety of its hidden root has planted quiet in the night, the shaking of its leafy head has given the waves their melody and made my lips and music wed, murmuring a wizard song for thee. There the loves a circle go, the flaming circle of our days, gyring, spiring to and fro, and those great ignorant leafy ways, remembering all that shake and hear, and how the winged sandals turned, thine eyes grow full of tender care, beloved gaze in thine own gaze no more in the bitter glass, the demons with their subtle guile lift up before us when they pass, or only gaze a little while, for there our fatal image grows, that the stormy night receives, roots half hidden under the snows, broken boughs and blackened leaves. For all things turn to barrenness, in the dim glass the demons hold, the glass of outer weariness, made when God slept in times of old. There through the broken branches go the ravens of unresting thought, flying, crying to and fro, cruel claw and hungry throat, or else they stand and sniff the
I feel like I've watched a Sonic movie just now. One of elegance, evocative atmosphere, and classic, like, Celtic mythology. I don't know how it all pieces together, that's fair to say, but there's references to someone's heart and seemingly like maybe a tree as a metaphor, but also visually, and we have references to shaking and I think swaying in the wind. It's leaves falling. There's a crow flying. Multiple references to night, and then seemingly like the passage of time and everything that's taken place under or in relation to a tree. And I wonder if two trees are like, temporally connected, or whether they are proximally and temporally connected. But seemingly there is metaphor at play here, but also specific visual references, and I'm guessing narrative elements that perhaps relate to some mythology, some Celtic tale, some fable that may speak to the understandings of a legendary period of history. But yeah, definitely an atmosphere of night, definitely sort of there's movement, and I think specifically the crow part of it really caught my ear. But her vocals, incredible, like very delicate and intimate, but also with sweep and grandeur. The piano chords, incredible. The violin work, especially that section that kept coming around, I think like post-chorus. I don't even know if there's a chorus per se, but there was an instrumental transitional section that came around multiple times, and every time it would swell up, it was like I just felt this emotional wave. And of course those pipes at the beginning, which I'm guessing those are the Ulaingt pipes, like traditional Irish pipes, just really elegant and beautiful. So the composition of the tune, the chronology of the tune, the atmosphere of the tune, just remarkable, stunning. She truly is an artist, and I know I keep saying that. That's probably like the half dozenth time that I've said that, but it's just a striking feature of her work. It's like every tune feels like it's transporting me to a time and a place in history, in culture, in geography. So yeah, she just really is this world-creating artist with her composition, which, as I've come to understand, and shout out to Michaela for this entire journey, as well as to Yvonne, who had shared a Loreena tune that started off this journey. But the description of the instruments that she's using, which Michaela has provided pretty much in every case, they're all like these instruments from different world music cultures, and sort of non-standard instruments in pop music, or like art. I was going to say art pop, like even in art pop, which is already off the beaten path and very creative and non-standard. It feels like she's going even beyond that and just incorporating instruments I've never heard of, or if I have heard of them, they're not often heard in popular music. So yeah, it's an incredible experience listening to Loreena McKennitt music, and this one felt like an even more, what's the right word, prominent example of that, even relative to some other tracks on this album. So just a stunning piece of work. I look forward to hearing any insight, not only, narratively or lyrically, but also sonically. One more tune to go on this incredible album. We'll talk about that when we come to it. Ultimately, I'm trying to remember, like I know Chris had some ideas, but about what we might do after this. Was it Element? Is that what we decided? Obviously, we can still figure out the best next step, but yeah, I think that was the idea. In any case, let me know what you think. Thank you again to Michaela for these CDs, and I'm so looking forward to more from this incredible catalog. Let me know what you think, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.